Alright, what's going on, guys? Welcome everybody back to another video on the channel. Today we're looking at the top 10 most overpowered and arguably broken guns in Cold War Zombies. And as we're getting ready to head into Season 1 and some new Zombies content is along the way, if you're jumping back into Zombies, you're probably going to want to know what the best weapons are and what will give you the most success. So today, we're going to go over this list of the 10 most overpowered guns in Cold War Zombies and explain some of the interesting properties that make them as good as they are. So I think you guys are going to enjoy this video. Before we get too deep, I am going to be doing a giveaway of 2,400 COD points that everybody can enter. All you need to do to enter this giveaway is leave a like on the video, subscribe if you are new to the channel, and let me know what your personal favorite gun is in Cold War Zombies, and I will be picking the winner in just a couple of weeks. So with that out of the way, let's get into this top 10 list of the most overpowered guns in Zombies right now. Taking the number 10 spot is a gun that I admittedly may have slept on a little bit when the game came out and not given it enough credit. This is the AK-74U, and this has always been pretty much an iconic weapon in Zombies and basically a beast in whatever game it's been included in, and it's no different in Cold War. The choices between this and the Milano was very close, and I would say if we're only looking at hipfire, the Milano might be the better SMG, but I found that over the use of my time with both of these weapons, the AK-74U just has the more overall clear-cut choice. A huge benefit to the 74U and just the SMG class in general is the mobility that you get while using these, not only while you're firing your weapon, but even just when you're maneuvering around the map, not worrying about putting out damage. Now, it doesn't do the most damage per bullet, and I will admit that there are better options for taking out boss enemies that I'm going to strongly recommend higher on this list, but for just taking out like hordes of enemies on mid to higher rounds, the 74U is really not a bad choice, and when fully upgraded is pretty solid. The reload time on the 74U is pretty dang fast, even compared to some of the other SMGs, and it just seems to be incredibly reliable in my opinion. Definitely a very good weapon. Coming today at our number 9 spot is the LW3 Tundra. So this is a bolt action sniper rifle, one of the very few sniper rifles that are actually in Cold War Zombies, but by far the best one, like without a question. Some of the other snipers like the Pellington or the Barrett, the M82, are like don't even really come close. And again, the Tundra is extremely overpowered as far as its damage output. You can throw this on with fully upgraded and with Ring of Fire, and it will quite literally do over 1 million damage per bullet, and I'm not kidding about that. But is it as practical as some of the other guns in this list? Not exactly. As far as sheer damage numbers go, if you really want to maximize those out, then you'll run the Tundra fully upgraded with Ring of Fire. Using it on boss enemies is just unbelievable. But again, it's not the most practical of weapons because in a fast-paced Zombies game like Cold War, a single bolt action sniper really just isn't going to cut it, no matter how good the damage may or may not be. I often find it good to pair something like the Tundra with a fast firing weapon that you can use on insta-kills or just for general hoarding, and then having your main power weapon for bosses, or even something like a ray gun obviously is going to be a good choice, but this should not be like the weapon that you fall back on or have another slow firing weapon along with the Tundra, although it is incredibly powerful when you do have it upgraded. Up next is going to be the first AR on this list, and it's actually going to dethrone one of the weapons I talked so highly of in a previous video, but I think the Krig 6 is probably going to be the best in that class. Now, previously I had the FFAR all the way at the top of that throne, but after using them on like high rounds and in different strategies and stuff, I think that the Krig 6 is the more practical one and suffers less from like damage fall off as the rounds progress. I think in the early game the FFAR might be better just due to its sheer rate of fire and the way that Cold War Zombies works. It's also worth noting that you can immediately buy a blue rarity Krig 6 as soon as you get to the Pack-a-Punch room, whereas I don't believe the FFAR is a wall buy anywhere, and if you want to run that gun, you have to rely on it getting it out of the box, which is obviously not guaranteed. It's definitely better than the QBZ in terms of its rate of fire. That one's a little bit too slow for me. The AK has a bit too much recoil for my liking, and the Krig 6 falls in this really nice middle ground where it just kind of covers all of its bases, and I'm a big fan of it. So coming in at number 7 is going to be a really interesting weapon that I never really gave the time of day when Cold War Zombies came out, and I think that was a mistake. This gun, the AUG, is more like a hybrid between the TAC rifle and the AR class. Now, it's been an assault rifle in previous games, and they technically made it classified as a tactical rifle in Cold War, but I think it plays better actually if you're using it such as an AR. Now, when you get the base version, it is going to be a 3-round burst, and unfortunately does not become fully automatic when you upgrade it. I feel like this gun could become a lot more powerful if you could upgrade this and it had a fully automatic capability. However, still a 3-round burst, and whether it's going to change or not, I don't know, but I think it's incredibly good, especially in that tac rifle category. Maybe not the best one in that list, but is certainly worth giving a go. It certainly does have a damage fall off in some of the higher rounds, but you can see even here on round 40, it's not doing too badly up against boss enemies and specifically regular zombies too. This gun very greatly benefits from Deadshot because of the damage headshot multiplier that these tac rifles get. It makes a huge difference. So Deadshot is a key component to using the AUG in the best manner. Now, coming in at our number 6 spot is going to be the Stoner 63. And let's be honest with ourselves, the RPD compared to the Stoner 63 and the M60 just doesn't really cut it. The Stoner 63 wins because of its just sheer DPS. Its rate of fire is a little bit more impressive than the M60, and the Stoner 63 interestingly has this attachment for reload quickness that allows you to cancel the reload and get back to firing much quicker than how the animation plays out. So essentially, you can have the reload speed of an assault rifle with the damage output of an LMG. And of course, LMGs do come with a little bit of a downside, meaning you move a lot slower, and you can definitely feel that when running this gun, but I would say that's a pretty fair trade-off with how good this weapon actually is. This weapon greatly benefits from having stamina up equipped because you can backpedal very quickly, and that is so crucial with LMGs. At this point in the game, probably has to be the best LMG there is to pick, and I absolutely love it. However, moving on and coming in at number 5 is a gun that is just, in my opinion, far superior. This is the M16, and honestly, it's in the tac rifle class in Cold War, but really should be in a weapon class all on its own. I really don't know how to even explain how good this weapon is or why. In Cold War Zombies, you'll notice that a lot of guns don't really change in terms of their functionality after pack punching them. You know, they're just a stronger version of themselves. The M16 is not that at all. Now, of course, it's still a burst fire weapon, but turning into a 6-round burst is like, and especially with the damage output that it provides, is just literally a shred above the rest. Like, it completely blows the AUG out of the water, and even the Mark 14 and the Type 63, not even in the same league. I don't know how the M16 got to be this powerful. I really hope they don't change it at all, because it's one of the most like reliable bullet weapons for high rounds and is never a bad secondary. It absolutely melts bosses, and it just eats through hordes like it's absolutely nothing. It even does pretty well against armored zombies. That is a pretty strange attribute that it has, but it performs really well. So always been a big M16 guy. It has no right to be this good, but absolutely had to take the number 5 spot. Moving on and coming in at number 4, I'm going to stand by my decision as far as the wonder weapons and say that the Die Shockwave is still the best out of all of them. And I think it fundamentally comes down to the fact that this is the most easy to use. And while the upgrades to get all the other elementals are pretty easy and straightforward, the Die Shockwave has this one thing that the others don't, and that is no trigger delay. Once you pull the trigger, something immediately happens, which cannot be said for the rest of them, and I feel like is literally one of the biggest deterrents, as small of an inconvenience as it might be, that puts people off towards it. It certainly puts me off to those upgrades, and it's just like, I've just found it to be more effective for every single use possible for high rounds, Easter egg runs, everything like that. You can get this weapon super early in the game after you kill your first megaton, so it is in guaranteed use if you really, really want it. You can get it out of the box as well, or get it from the Coffin Dance Easter egg, but those are somewhat more rare options. But again, the Shockwave probably has to be the best out of all the elementals, and the other ones do have their uses, but none really quite compare as easily. Now, coming in at the number 3 spot is a weapon I've actually put down a little bit on the list. This is the Gallow shotgun, and arguably probably the most popular gun in the game as far as bullet guns go right now, and for good reason. It's pretty much like this one of the speedrunners go-tos, and just like, it's an all-around beast. I don't have to explain this weapon to you guys. Interestingly, this also undergoes a pretty big change when you upgrade it. It becomes fully automatic instead of being only a single shot, but I think that there's a gun that I like a little bit better than the Gallow now, after I've been, you know, playing some time with both of them. One of the biggest draws to the Gallow is that it's convenient, and it's ease of use because it becomes fully automatic, and you can pretty much hold down the button and wipe out an entire horde. It's really good in that sense, but I think there's one that's a bit more specialized and has actually a little bit more output that is effective if you use it correctly. But coming in at our number 2 spot is going to be the Hauer shotgun, and I had these reversed last time I made a weapon ranking, and the reason I've changed my mind is I think the Hauer is better at dealing with boss enemies and hordes of zombies. Now, the Gallow might be more specialized in just killing, you know, waves of enemies, and if that's what you're going for, then by all means run that shotgun, but the Hauer is going to put out slightly more damage, and if you have the attachments, the barrel attachment specifically, that allows you to have a slightly increased rate of fire, they're almost pretty comparable in that sense, and I think the Hauer is just more specialized as a weapon. It forces you to be a little bit more careful and think about your game more effectively. More or less, they are almost the same weapon, though. The differences are quite subtle, but I think that at the extremes, they kind of do make a difference when it comes to boss enemies and everything like that. So I've started to prefer the Howard shotgun as of lately, and I don't know if that's going to change later on or just, you know, for whatever purposes I'm using it for, but I'm a really big fan of this weapon right now, and it will literally never let you down when you have it fully upgraded. It's insane. But ladies and gentlemen, today would not be an official zombies ranking without the #1 spot going to the ray gun. Now, can we just go ahead and appreciate the new updated ray gun as it is? The camo that they have implemented looks absolutely so clean. I think it goes without saying at this point that the ray gun is by far still the most powerful gun in Cold War Zombies. It brings up an interesting topic, though, is if the ray gun is still going to remain at the top of this list when everything is said and done. As more maps come out and more wonder weapons get added to the game, we don't know if the ray gun is going to, like, retain its crown throughout that entire season. That is still yet to be determined. But at the end of the day, all of the good things that we talked about with these previous weapons, the ray gun does, just in a smaller and more concise package. It deletes boss enemies still, is the only really gun that's viable for high rounds depending on what strat you're playing, and there's really no reason not to use it. Once you get to about round 30 or 40, if you hit the box, you have a pretty high likely probability of pulling it, so it's fairly easy to get once you play for a while. And at this point, I don't think there's anything the ray gun straight up can't do, and I think a lot of you guys would agree. So that is going to be the list of the top 10 most overpowered guns in zombies right now, and likely heading into season 1, unless any balance changes are made, which I don't expect there to be. But let me know what you guys think about it down below in the comments section. If you enjoyed the video, remember to drop a like, subscribe if you're brand new, and you can also feel free to enter the giveaway as mentioned at the beginning of this video if you like. I do stream zombies almost every day over on Twitch if you don't already follow me. Links in the description below. But hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you all on the next stream or the next video. Take it easy, guys. I gotta go, and peace out.